Okay, Rob, are you ready to record?
Hi, Dan. Why are you talking like that? I'm ready to record.
Bien. Good. That's
Oh,
good.
okay. Yeah.
Let us
Have you been
vamanoth.
uh, have you been taking Spanish lessons from Javier Bardem?
It, in a manner of speaking, you could say that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe let's just start the show.
You want to just start it? You want to just go?
Uh, cheers. And of course I know how to do that because I'm Dan. I'm not the ghost of Javier Bardem who died in a sex accident, and one of my sexy acolytes killed Dan and put him in a haunted tomb so that the spirit of Javier Bardem could embody his
Oof,
corporeal and corpulent form. Ja
sweaty.
ja ja ja.
But all right, yeah. Well, in that case, yes, we should definitely start the show.
Okay, this week on King Me, misery arrives. This is Castle Rock Season 2.
Under the October with the steamboats, ancient goblins, and wallows.
King Me! Welcome.
Oh no.
Uh,
Yep. Shake it out.
Sorry.
Shake it
Sorry,
out.
my meds were running low. I had to re-up.
Oh boy.
Welcome to King Me, the official Stephen King movie podcast, the official podcast of Kinging Me, the official podcast of, hey, just because the character is in the show, don't make it a Stephen King thing so much.
Yeah, you can name characters whatever you want. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, how about this? The official podcast of declaring Bad Robot the understatement of the century.
I keep forgetting that this is a bad robot joint.
Man, when I saw that at the end of the first episode, my heart sank.
What else? I mean, Bad Robot, right? They did Lost. What else? Did they do everything that JJ does? I guess.
Yeah, I think so. It's his company. Is it
Right.
not? So,
Yeah, yeah. No, it's JJ. Yeah, it's his. I just don't. I mean, I don't know, man. What do they got? Alias, Fringe.
Alias
fucking-
is what Javier Bardem calls the second movie in the Alien franchise.
Alias. Oh, Bad Robot did 11/22/63. We liked that.
Well, do we like it? I don't think we liked it.
No, I think we did like it.
I don't think we liked it. That's not my
Well,
memory is liking it.
Well, we could go back and listen to the episode, but we know we're not going to do that. So moving on.
Maybe we should.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's due for a critical reappraisal, right? A reclamation, like how everyone thinks M. Night Shyamalan is the bee's knees now. And by everyone, I simply mean the blank check guys. But I think they speak for a lot of people.
No, I agree. I think M. Night's got a huge fan base.
Are you? It sounds like you're not among them, based on.
I'm not. I mean, like, I've seen a fair amount of them. They're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I think it is? I think most of his movies are like kind of B movies, right? And they are held up to a higher, like, on a higher pedestal than other B movies. Like, they have maybe a more money, bigger production or whatever. But like, it sure does feel like any one of these movies could have just as easily been much cheaper and possibly released straight to video.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Although I won't hear the happening disparaged on this program.
You big happening guy?
Yeah. Hey, watch out for that lawnmower.
Hey,
Hey.
it's the trees. They're trying to kill us. Stupid.
Well,
That's like a perfect example of like that is like the same kind of shit as like one of those sci-fi movies from the 50s
with like a giant
where-
ant.
Yes, it's like a giant ant movie.
I think that's fair. I haven't seen an M. Night. You know what M. Night I actually loved was is it called The Visit? Kid goes to visit his grandparents.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that one. Is that good?
Is fucking great, actually. The I don't know if oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I think I know what the twist is, the M. Night twist there.
See, I did not know. I did not know the twist, and I don't know if it's just me getting dull in my old age or what, but I was just absolutely hooting and hollering.
You were giddy.
I was loving
You're just
it.
like clapping, like yay.
I would also like to note for our video viewers that this is the official podcast of having a big shiner on your eye, or what appears to be a shiner.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, sometimes, I mean, podcasting is a lot like a marriage, and sometimes
podcasting is a lot like a staircase in that sometimes you fall down the stairs.
Right. And then they make a documentary, and it's like, did the husband do it? Did the owl do it? What do we know about this?
Who's the husband and who's the owl here?
I guess I would be the husband. Your lovely wife, Paige, would probably be the owl.
Mm-hmm.
We're just unsure of where this injury came from.
It's hard to know because so many people have the motive, right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. This sounds like a case for Benoit Blanc.
Oh, are you doing like glass onion talk? Is that what's going on here?
Well, no, the owl and the staircase
Yeah,
thing.
what's that?
You didn't see that? They made a narrative show about it, but it's based on like a true story where this woman, a guy calls up 911,
and again, that's Rob's tone.
This female, that fucking worst. No, this guy calls up 911 saying that his wife is bleeding everywhere and yada yada.
Ugh. That time of the month.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, it's definitely not that kind of show.
No. No, and then, the husband got accused of, like, pushing her down the stairs and, like, attacking her.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's, like, brought into... There, he's like, he just maintains, like, across the board, he did not do it. There was also a possibility of an actual owl... like getting in and like attacking her and causing her to fall down the stairs. I mean, it's a classic, husband or the owl.
Sure.
That's going to be a saying, in the coming years.
Picturing the dim-witted sheriff's deputy going, boss, I don't know how to cuff this guy.
This guy keeps eating mice on my watch. Yeah.
Okay, and this is a show? This is a movie called
it's an HBO thing, like a docuseries.
They're making too many of them. This one did not have the cultural splash.
No, it did. Maybe it just didn't. Yeah,
when did this come out? The 80s?
No, within the last 5 years.
You're kidding.
No, I swear. It's called The Staircase.
The Staircase? You're making this up. This is like
I wish I was making all this up. This is leading you down this path.
This is as real as the what was it called? The Coroner's Apprentice, the lost Stephen King movie.
That's right.
Our favorite.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one.
It's pretty good.
The Coroner's Apprentice.
It's classic Steven Weber.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, so okay, so in 2001, that's when the thing happened, the incident.
Yes.
They made a docu-series about it in 2004, and then in 2022, that's when they made like this sort of like true crime narrative story.
Made up.
Michael Peterson is the husband, and I don't think the owl has a name.
Owl Jolson.
Yeah, you know, I think
I
that
like to
owl
push
though
a-
is
I like to push your wife down the fucking staircase and eat a rodent.
that owl is one of the owls of Ga'Hoole though.
Oh
So,
wow! So
yeah.
this is
So
like
it's kind of like a royalty thing.
this is
you know?
like an Ezra
Maybe that
Miller
gets brushed up.
situation.
Yeah, it's a big problem, and what are you gonna do? You got to release the movie, right?
Who
did you catch
guards
that
the
trailer?
Guardians? Right?
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Where's the
Did
accountability?
you catch the Flash trailer with two Ezra Millers?
Oh no. Maybe that's a problem that solves itself. Maybe that's the only
Right?
way.
They cancel each other
Yeah,
out, right?
Yeah. It's like it's a little bit like when at Disneyland they had a rodent problem, so they brought in a bunch of feral cats to eat
Yep.
the rodents.
I mean, isn't that always the way, right? And then now you got a feral cat problem.
Yeah.
All right, we're not talking about owls or Ezra Miller here.
Owls would be a good solution to the cat problem, though.
It would be.
It would be
You're
good.
right.
But then they're
And then
flying
they could-
around,
then they could
snatching
just
people's
fly-
dole whips out of their hands. Oh no!
Oh man.
Oh no! My
Love a nice
$200
Dole Whip.
lightsaber.
Just owls with lightsabers flying around Disney. Oh no! This is what we've always. This is what we've always
the one
feared.
thing we didn't want to happen.
Yeah. I mean, Disney, right? Obviously, Mickey Mouse is like the mascot for Disney.
Mm-hmm.
A fucking mouse. Who's a mouse is like, arch enemy, cats, and number 2, owls.
Owls, absolutely. Owls
So-
arguably more lethal, although harder to come by.
Oh, absolutely. They
Owl,
fly down, they
absolutely.
snatch you. Oh boy. Oh man, this is the owl episode, huh?
Yeah.
All right. We're taking a trip away from Orlando, Florida, and Disney World.
We're
And
making
we're going,
two stops.
making our way.
two
stops.
stops this week.
That's right.
See,
We're going to Castle Rock, and
now let me take a second. Let me get ahead of the criticism because I know it's coming.
Okay.
I know everyone wants to take a bite out of the boys. They're gonna be saying, "Where's the part 1 at the end of the name of this episode?" I want you to talk about the second season of a show nobody watched for a month. I want it to take a month for you guys to move on.
right.
Where's part 2? Where's part 2? Not gonna be a part 2. We
That's right. I mean,
are
we put a
streamlining.
stop to all that.
Yes, we are. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you want more, I don't know. Go listen to what's one of the other ones called? Like
Like King Cast or some bullshit.
Like the Stephen Prince's, the little King
Prince Me?
Boys of King. Kind of show where no one leaves a review saying I turned it off immediately because they disrespected the author.
Yeah, it is funny. I do find most of the other Stephen King podcasts unlistenable.
I have never tried to listen to one.
That's
To my
smart of
credit,
you.
it's not my thing.
It's just not something I'm into.
It's just what's in it for me? Where am I? I don't hear my voice.
So Castle
Castle
Rock.
Rock season 2. It's been a minute since we've checked in with this fucking show, this terrible, terrible TV show.
This bad TV show, this stupid town, and its neighboring town, I guess,
Yeah.
of Jerusalem's Lot.
Oh,
God
boy.
damn it.
And hey, this time they actually okay, so season 1 famously had nothing to do with Stephen King apart from the prison where
Right.
the what's his name?
Bill Skarsgård.
Where Bill Skarsgård's character was kept. It happened to be named Shawshank Prison.
Right.
It could have been any prison anywhere in the world. It happened to be Shawshank.
Right. And then, what's his name? The old guy. He was Sheriff Pangborn, who is like
Right.
a running character.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's Sissy Spacek, who the character was not a King character, but she was in Carrie, so there's like a loose association there.
And here's okay. So you can like in your head be like, oh wow, here's an untold adventure of Sheriff Pangborn, right?
Sure.
You'd be like, maybe this is something he got up to,
Yeah.
right? Which ultimately led to his death.
Yes. But that's not what happened.
So what happened? But you can. They're minor enough characters that you don't quite feel the like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't my Sheriff Pangborn. It's I
It's
get it.
Stick. In fact,
right,
Stick
it's
from
more of a
Daredevil.
Yeah.
Now, season 2.
Here we go.
We've already mentioned Jerusalem's Lot, famously a town full of vampires.
Yeah. It's lousy with vampires.
We mentioned also, we did not mention actually, that the arguably main character of the whole series is Annie Wilkes from Misery. And guess what, dear listener? This season is a prequel to the movie Misery. So, we are to believe that Annie Wilkes
Of Misery. Kathy Bates, that character. Go on.
that character,
Yeah.
first of all, okay, she went on she traveled around for 15 years with her half-sister, who she raised as her daughter.
Right.
She ends up in Castle Rock, stumbles on to a satanic plot to bring about the rise of the Antichrist, let's say, or Bill Skarsgård, it's unclear.
Right.
And in the course of doing this, her younger half-sister gets possessed, right?
Uh-huh. Maybe.
And then they skip town. And while her sister is recovering, she happens upon the novels of who? Who else? Wasn't Paul Schrader?
Yeah, I always want to call him Paul Schrader. It's not Paul
What
Schrader.
is it actually?
Yeah, it's Paul Sheldon.
Paul Sheldon.
Paul Sheldon.
So she happens upon the novels of Paul Sheldon in the month where her sister's recovering. Then she kills her sister.
Yeah.
And then decides that she's devoted to Paul Schrader. I'm sticking with it.
Right. Yes. I mean, some other things happen in between, but you basically summed up the whole season up until the very last scene of the last episode, which features Annie Wilkes at a book reading of Paul Sheldon's new book, the new Misery book or something. So, Dan, you're saying you did not like the Misery prequel.
I cannot tell you how angry I was.
It's so bad, Dan. But here's the thing. I'm going to say this.
Okay.
I think this season is better than the first season. almost on every level. As far as like, I mean, like the Stephen King of it all. I think they probably should have went with a different character besides Annie Wilkes, but okay. And then like they incorporate like the Mars, like there's a whole like the Stephen King bit,
Yeah.
right? That was better than season one. Things I think more happens in this season than like in the first like 2 episodes of this season than all of the first season.
Yeah, so off the bat, I'll say I agree that it's better than the first season. It clears that very low bar.
Yes.
And so as stupid as making this about Annie Wilkes is, and it is stupid.
It is stupid.
All of the stuff happening around that, I'm like almost fine with.
Yeah.
It's like, again,
all of the like the witch stuff, like the cults, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like that all feels of a piece, right?
Sure.
And like you can believe that Salem's Lot, given its history, you know,
right?
Like the implication of the novel is that the town or the house and the town, I guess, are basically just like a beacon for evil. Like it doesn't have to be vampires. It just
it could be any sort of evil. Right.
Sure. So if you want
400-year-old French settlers,
the most evil thing I can think of are a bunch of horny French people. I think if you want to believe that the vampire scourge died out in the like 50 years since the novel takes place, go ahead. Like,
sure,
whatever. Now we're on to French settler business,
right?
But the Annie Wilkes stuff is just like so.
The Annie Wilkes stuff is really bad,
so unforgivable. It's like
it is.
We talked about this a lot with the first season, how it just felt like they had a script that they grafted the town of Castle Rock onto. This feels a little bit less like that, but it
still feels a lot like that.
Like why is Pop why does he feel survivor's remorse for serving in Somalia? Like,
well, he feels bad about, obviously killing their,
poor choice of words. But I guess more what I mean is like, why are we doing this with Pop Merrill?
Yeah, no, totally. Why, like, see, like, I don't know, even before season 1, when they were like, we're going to do a show called Castle Rock, and it's going to be, like, in the Stephen King universe. We probably talked about this when we did season 1, but, like, when I initially, saw the previews or whatever, I thought it was just going to be a show, that takes place in Castle Rock. You might get some, like, ancillary King characters, but it'll be, like, sort of a whole new thing. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's, like, I don't know, maybe fucking Pennywise shows up for a meeting with Cujo or something like that. You know what I mean?
Finally, they square off.
Yeah.
Whoever wins, we lose.
Yeah. Right. So this season, like if it had just been like, oh, we set it in Jerusalem's Lot. The Marston house is in there. It is a beacon of evil. They probably could have hit that note a little bit harder. But we don't have to have Annie Wilkes as our main character. Like, we could have somebody else who's like, you just change the name. You don't it could be like essentially the same, performance from Lizzie Kaplan. It just,
well, that's what I mean.
Change
it's like,
the name.
It does feel like that's kind of what I mean. Like, it feels like they had a separate script and then they added in all like the cock-a-doodie, like all the shit all the Annie Wilkes stuff. Yep. Dirty birds, all that talk. Like
that good old guy.
Mm-hmm. It just Yeah, there's no other way to say it except that it's like completely unnecessary and like what
It's also like, I mean, fucking Kathy Bates, didn't she win an Oscar for Misery?
yes. So to have
Right?
someone doing like basically like
It's an impression of
all due
that
respect to Lizzie
performance.
Kaplan, it's like if you
Yeah.
went to a Stephen King theme park, this is what the costume character would do.
Totally. Which I know we've continually joked about how it's Smoke Show Annie Wilkes. But it the whole time I was watching it, I'm like, she is doing an impression of Kathy Bates, right? Which is, fine, whatever. And I was like, it just feels, obviously, I think Lizzie Kaplan is miscast. If they had, one of the big defining characteristics of Annie Wilkes is that she's like,
Wayfish and beautiful, right?
right.
It's that she
couldn't possibly lift a man's body and throw it down the stairs or anything. No, like that. She's like, like a broad. She's burly, kind of. She has to be like on the bigger side.
yes.
And I mean, yeah, Lizzie Kaplan does not suit that at all. And then, like the whole, she's like a schizophrenic in this show,
Yeah.
which in the movie, she's definitely not a schizophrenic who sees like hallucinations. Much more of like a bipolar kind of thing,
Right.
Like,
Which weirdly someone says in the show.
yeah, somebody says she has bipolar. Yeah, she's bipolar, but like, and that person was like a nurse, and sir, you don't. That's not what that is. I know that. Like,
Yeah.
the writers have to know that.
Apparently not. Apparently not. Yeah, so I don't know, man.
So
I don't want to do this.
I know you don't want to do it. It's not even. I mean, it's like it's such broad strokes too. Like you're saying, okay, Annie Wilkes, like the whole like her sister and stuff. Like, so she is driving across country with this young girl who, for the entire, show up until like what episode
Like
7 or 8.
I thought it was a little earlier, but it doesn't matter at all. It just doesn't matter.
I think it might be 6 or 7, but we think that young girl is Annie Wilkes' daughter. Joy.
That's how she says it. She goes, Joy.
And what we come to find out is when Annie Wilkes was younger, she was dyslexic.
Which, as we all know, if left untreated, turns into bipolar disorder and schizophrenia.
Yeah. And because she was dyslexic, they brought in a reading tutor for her. First, it was her father, but he wasn't doing a good enough job.
They had to get Rita
so
K.
they
Green.
Right. They had to get Rita K. Green. Is she a King character?
I was trying to check. I couldn't find anything. I don't think she is.
All right. That makes sense then. So they bring in the tutor, and she becomes friends with the tutor, and they have like a close relationship, and it goes on for a little while, like a year, maybe a little bit more. And this whole time, Annie's parents are like their relationship is basically done. Like, her dad is like he's a writer, so he's like they portray him as just like a guy who wants to have fun, where like the mom is always working, which like I don't know. Also it feels strange that like Annie Wilkes is a product of these two people, because like neither one of them is like incredibly overbearing or like even with like the language stuff, which like seems to be like an Annie Wilkes like trademark. You would think that one of her parents was like, her mom doesn't like cursing in the house, but like nothing ever.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's
You know,
like
she's not tortured or anything, or thrown in the basement because she curses.
it
you
seems
know?
like there's maybe a draft where the two parents are like more diametrically opposite, you know, and like they're
Sure.
all those traits are like dialed up more, because like even the dad in that introductory scene starts out like a bit more of a crank, where he's like, we're taking her
Yeah.
out of school, we're homeschooling her,
Right.
and like that fades away really quickly, and then he just becomes like an attractive older man who bags Rita K. Green.
Right. Right.
By the way, Rita K. Green
Yeah.
is a King alum.
Oh, is she?
Sarah Gadon or Gadon, I don't know how you say it. She played Sadie Dunhill in 11/22/63. Yeah,
I knew it.
yeah.
I knew she looked familiar. I could have sworn that the woman in that in 11/22 or whatever was somebody else. But all right, well, good.
Oh, and
I'm glad that.
glad we got to the bottom of that. Oh, and by the way, I'd be remiss if I didn't call this out. I don't believe she's a King alum, but she is a Deadwood alum.
Okay.
I love that show. The woman who plays her mom is Robin Weigart, who is what's her name? Frickin'
I don't know.
Calamity Jane or whatever. On
Oh, all right.
have you
still
still
haven't
not
watched
seen?
Deadwood.
Oh, God damn
I
it!
have not seen it. I know. I'll get it after I watch The Sopranos. Maybe I'll watch Deadwood.
You've seen The Sopranos.
I haven't seen it all the way through, and I'm doing a
Really?
rewatch right now. I'm deep. Yeah, I've seen up until like maybe the beginning of season 6, and then for some reason like I stopped watching.
That's wild. But I'll say this: Deadwood is better than The Sopranos,
Holy shit!
unequivocally.
All right, well, how much marinara sauce is in Deadwood? I don't know.
No marinara sauce, but if you want to see Ian McShane pass a kidney stone or like a bladder stone.
Yeah, I definitely do. Right. The dad, Annie's dad, ends up getting Rita knocked up, and Annie doesn't know this specifically. Then her parents split up, and then blah blah blah. So on and so on. She eventually finds out that the baby is her father's and Rita's, and they had like an affair and all this stuff. And young Annie Wilkes is very black and white about things. You're either a good person or a bad person.
Yeah, and she wants
all that.
She wants bad people punished, right? Like she's reading books. And
She
stuff,
does.
and,
Right.
yeah, like she wants Pinocchio to suffer. She's like, they should. Good.
Yeah.
Pinocchio should suffer. He's a bad boy.
Right. He's bad. Yeah. He's a bad wooden boy. So, her dad writes a book and then dedicates it to Rita and not Annie, and she gets upset. They have a confrontation about it, and she pushes him, and he stumbles down the stairs. Dan, I gotta tell you, when this happened, I was laughing and laughing.
Oh my God. As if it's not funny enough that he falls onto the big exposed wooden beam, like the jagged.
He breaks the railing somehow, and then he is impaled on a post that is snapped.
And by the way, that's as close as we're coming to any Wampir shit on this whole show.
Oh yeah. They drove a stake
through.
You don't see that a lot when somebody drives a stake through the back. Yeah. Everybody's always going from the front.
It seems easier, right? Catch them unawares.
Right.
But yeah, so then the real hilarity ensues when Annie tries from like 5 different angles to pull him up off of the post. And she'll just be like, okay. And she'll go to lift him, and he just goes like, oh, no.
The whole time he's like, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. It's not your fault. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Oh, and it's okay. Oh!
Yeah, this piece of wood is sticking out of him. Like, it's probably a foot out of the front of him. So he's just like, he's not going anywhere.
I would say he's run through.
He's absolutely
he is
run
the
through.
if you've ever seen that poster for the movie Cannibal Holocaust, it's same
It's
vibes.
like it's just like that.
Same vibes.
Yeah. And then so Annie accidentally kills her dad.
Yeah.
Clearly that is an accident. And then Rita comes out and she's like, "What happened?" And Annie grabs a pair of scissors and starts chasing her and stabs her in the stomach. And she thinks she kills her, but turns out she did not kill her.
And the way they show it is so fucking goofy.
That was another laugh moment for me.
So she stabs Rita, and we see Rita like go to the ground, scissors in her stomach. And then we cut back to her, and as though she's like as though she slept in the goo box all night, and we'll get to that in a minute. As though she slept in the goo box, she's just like it was like truly like Pulp Fiction, stab me with the adrenaline needle.
It was exactly like
it was so fucking crazy, as though she's like, oh my god, I'm finally better.
Right. Yeah. So Annie takes the baby, right? And she's going to drown the baby, and then she's going to I think drown herself. I think that's the plan. And then the baby starts laughing, and she can't do it, so she goes on the run. And then she spends the next 15 years on the run.
I love that the baby starts laughing. She's just like, oh, damn, all right. You're actually kind of funny. You're funny as fuck.
Yeah, you're funny as fuck.
I can't stay mad at you. Get over here. So I'm dying to know.
Yeah.
Because Annie is presumably, what, like 17, 18 when all of this happens?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's probably... Because they keep talking about her taking the GED.
Yeah.
And it seems like she is, like, older when... she went on too long with her dad trying to teach her how to read, and that's not working out. And it seems like maybe she's like 19 or so.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Okay, so she could. I was gonna say, because like, how'd she get a car?
Well,
all them license plates, it's none of my business. I suppose
it's none of my.
But yeah, so okay, I also.
Yeah.
I want credit where it's due. I think it's funny that Annie had to read her dad's smutty historical fiction novel for 10 years.
That's the only book that she read for 10 years. Every day? Every day?
Yes. The Ravening Angel.
No wonder she thinks the Misery books are like, best things since sliced bread. So they drive for 15 years across the country, back and forth.
Yep. Annie somehow fakes being a nurse to...
Well, yeah, I don't know if she actually ever becomes some sort of a nurse.
Are we to understand that she is able to fake being a nurse from having watched her mom, or like having had her mom do dental hygienics to her?
Oh my God. So that was so upsetting. That was the most upsetting thing that maybe in the whole season for me.
When she flossed too hard?
Well, when they're just standing in the bathroom and her mom is giving her like a full like
cleaning,
the full she's got like
dentist
cleaning,
the scraping thing, which I dare not speak of.
Please. But yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe it's probably unclear. Maybe they say it in like one line of dialogue. But so she basically travels around the country getting jobs as a nurse, like a temporary nurse. And then she's also able to score her antipsychotic medicine.
Which the cocktail for which she figured out through trial and error over the course of 15 years.
What?
Yeah, must have been a real rough stretch at the beginning there.
Yeah. How long did it take for you to perfect that cocktail of pills?
I do like that she and Joy, like that she and Joy have their like emergency like shit hits the fan plan, where it's like if I get loopy,
Yeah.
here's some like
Yeah.
rope that you use to tie a boat to a dock.
Right. You have to tie me up and feed me the pills. Right. So they end up in Castle Rock. They rent this like small sort of shack, which is run by Ace Merrill. Hey,
Him again.
Ace.
That old so-and-so?
Yeah.
Rob, I gotta say,
old guy.
we didn't intend it, but the synergy continues.
I know. It took me like 3 episodes to realize that was like Ace Merrill, like from
That,
the other
yeah,
stories.
the Ace Merrill.
Yeah, like they kept calling him Ace, and I just did not make the connection at all. But so Ace runs this these like how would you describe these houses? I mean, they're shacks.
Yeah, they're
like almost like barracks or something.
yeah, that works.
They're like 1-bedroom apartments, 2-bedroom like apartments, but little houses.
But like standalones. Yeah. Bungalows.
Yeah.
Bungalows.
There it is.
They're bungalow. Oh, they're bungalows. Oh, okay. So
right.
Annie Wilkes rents a bungalow from Ace Merrill. Oh. That's my
bad.
impression of
Of the
diehard
writers?
diehard fans talking about this shit. But yeah, also the writers. These bozos.
All right.
Fucking
So
guys.
Ace Merrill, so Ace it's so convoluted, but so Ace has a brother named Chris, and their father is Pops. Now we find out later that Pops is actually their uncle, and her Pops' sister couldn't take care of these kids, so he took them in. Also, Pops adopted 2 kids, a boy and a girl, from Somalia when there were refugees coming over. Okay, so there are four grown-up siblings that Pop calls his kids that are none of them are his kids.
Rob, do you want to know what this reminded me of?
What's that?
The movie Four Brothers, which is markedly better than this. Whole
yeah,
thing
it
here.
is.
It's basically they
the best
basically
part?
did Four Brothers.
They
They were
Four
like,
Brothers.
what if Stephen King had the Four Brothers? What if the Four Brothers went to Castle Rock?
At the very end of Four Brothers, when
On the ice.
who is it? Yeah, who's the bad guy? Is it Chiwetel Ejiofor?
I don't remember.
All right. Well, it's the bad guy and like his crew. They're out in like the middle of this like frozen lake,
And he's wearing
Nobody
a really
around-
cool coat.
Oh yeah, the coat is awesome.
I don't remember who's in the coat, but
Yeah, I just remember,
I
that,
remember
coat. It's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mark they see Mark Wahlberg like he is maybe 50 feet away and walking towards them. He had to have been walking out there for an hour.
Hold on.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey.
And weirdly, okay, so one moment in Castle Rock. This is probably my shiny moment. This is a bit of a spoiler.
It's spoily.
Instead of Danny, though, it's Annie! Okay, so I think my shiny moment is when Joy is, like, in the car at the construction site with, what's his name? The doctor's brother?
Abdi?
Uh-huh. And Annie, like, comes up to the car. Like, you see her walking toward she, like, sort of emerges from the woods.
Oh, yeah,
That actually I found unsettling.
Yeah.
Until
and then
I
it's
realized
immediately undercut.
Until I realized what was happening, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Damn.
Well, that's the thing. So, Ace is a real piece of shit, and Ace doesn't like his Somalian step siblings. So Ace throws a Molotov cocktail or two through their house window, right? Setting the house on fire. Fuck. All right. And then, Joy, just from like being in the neighborhood and like that's where Ace lives, she like saw in his window. She was like making Molotov cocktails in front of the window, but whatever. And she saw this, so Ace knows that she knows, blah blah blah. So he goes over to their house and confronts Annie and says, like, you know, your little girl, she's sticking her nose where it doesn't belong, that kind of thing, putting pressure on him. And Annie grabs a metal ice cream scoop and just jams it down his throat.
It was pretty brutal. And
yeah, she gives it like 3 palm strikes to get it in there.
Yeah. She gets him on the ground and then really tamps it in. Like she's making espresso. She's tamping it. And the gurgling sound that Ace makes is so upsetting. To the point where I was like, you know what? Maybe if nothing else, the rest of the show will be like this.
Right.
And then, because, you know, like, Annie Wilkes, canonically, is a serial killer. She's not...
Yes.
She's not, whatever the... She's not a confused dyslexic. I don't know.
Right. No, that's like 100% where I thought this show was going in the beginning, was like... You know, she accidentally kills Ace.
Right,
like,
and like it's already clear that like killing Ace, you don't do that.
Right.
But instead they're like, actually, he's not even that dead.
Right. So she goes to dispose of the body at this new this construction site. And
so the conflict, real quick, the conflict with Ace and his adopted brother is that his brother is opening like basically like a mall or like a community shopping center, like a Somali
something like that
community center with like
vendors. There's like a big
and,
Somalian community in this town.
And the issue is that Ace takes rent from the Somali vendors at their current like whatever.
Right.
You know, it's like a big sort of like flea market, open air market looking thing. I don't know what you call it.
But it's like a mafia shakedown or whatever. They're collecting rent, but it's bullshit.
Yes. Right. So that's the conflict there. So she just so happens to take him to this construction site to dump his body, and in the course of digging uncovers so are we to assume she dug 30 feet down like
well, no, the ground collapses. Like
that's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
How did this not happen when there were, you know,
when they were actually digging at the site? When there were like huge machines. They're like, involved?
You know what? Yeah. Stop digging now.
Right.
I got a good feeling about only digging this deep.
Yeah. Yeah. No surveyor. No nothing. No soil test. No none of it.
No.
They were just like, we could probably build a whole mall on top of this land.
Right, and it's a building foundation. So what's that? 15 feet, 20 feet?
Oh, yeah. At least. Yeah.
But my point is not that deep.
No.
Anyway.
So she digs, she only digs like a foot, and this cavern like opens up, and Ace's body and Annie, they fall into this like cavern.
How far would you say they fall?
I mean, it looks like it's like 15 or 20 feet at least.
It's a good,
right?
It's a good dip. Good dip.
It's a dip. Ace's body crashes on top of a casket, and then Annie looks around. There are a ton of caskets. Then she's like, I got to get out of here. So she like runs through these tunnels, and she ends up at the Marsden house.
Remember that?
The Marsden house up at the top of the hill.
Hubie Marsden.
Hubie Marsden. He killed his wife. This is so strange. When she like comes up out of the tunnel, it's the basement of the house. So she comes up from the basement inside the house, and there are 2 people fucking on the couch.
Yeah, who were they?
No idea.
Never
see
comes
him
up again, right?
Never comes up again. It was just two random people fucking on the couch, like older people too, easily in their 50s.
I thought it was Pop, like for a second,
Sure.
right? Because it's
Yeah, I mean, I just assumed it was people that lived there,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess not, because it's just like it's this rundown place. So that it was just like
here's a
some
question:
fucking adventurous, horny folks.
why not make it the priest who is from Mad Men? Why not just do that? At least,
The priest from Mad Men.
yes.
That's another show that I have not watched, Dan.
You've never watched Mad Men?
No,
Are
man.
you fucking kidding me, bro?
I know. I have to get. I'm making my way through my anti-hero TV shows. Okay, I'm entering my villain era.
Well, the guy who
Yeah.
plays the priest, he's on Mad Men as a guy
Okay.
who writes a sci-fi.
Oh.
He's like, he works at the ad agency, but he's also like writing a sci-fi novel on the side that's like his passion project. He's like, I got a story published in the New Yorker, and everyone's very excited for him. Great show.
That great show. So Ace is dead, and then like a couple days later, people start seeing. They're looking for Ace. Like Pop is looking for Ace. His brother Chris.
Have you checked
Can't
the
find him
bathtub?
anywhere.
Right? Isn't that where
Uh-huh.
he is? Isn't he in like the bathtub?
Is he in the
I
bathtub?
thought he was in the bathtub.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
He comes back around though. Ace is like, we see him walking around and interacting with people, and he's different. He's not as big of an asshole. So you're like, I don't know what's going on here, but this ain't the same guy,
And then it was like, oh, are we Pet Cemetery now? Also,
right? Are we Pet Cemetery? We're
We're
not.
not so much Pet Cemetery.
We could have been, but we're just not. So and then okay, so that's Ace. Pop, played by King alum Tim Robbins. It was great to see Tim Robbins, take a trip to Shawshank, the old stomping grounds where it all started.
when
baby.
that happened, were you like, wow?
That's exactly what I did.
Wow! Oh my god! He used to live.
Andy Dufresne
He used to
crawled
live
through a
in
river
there.
of shit back into the prison.
He crawled through a river of shit there. Wow!
So, Pop is like, he runs this like general store, hardware store kind of place. It also like everybody in town knows him. He seems like a liked person. Like at first I thought he was going to be like one of these guys that has like some sort of like stranglehold on the town or something like that.
It seems like that's what the character actually is, right? He's like a sleazy guy.
That's what I thought, but like everything that, like when they have, he has cancer, it's terminal. He knows he's going to die. He probably doesn't have very long. So he throws himself awake at this bar. And like people show up to the thing.
That's true. There's like a councilwoman there.
Yeah, there's some people.
I guess it's just like, I don't know.
And also the fact that like, he like adopted like all these kids. I don't know. It just seems very odd. I don't know if in the beginning it seems like you're not supposed to like this guy maybe, and then I don't know. Then he turns out to be just a great guy. That good old guy. Pop, cancer, blah blah blah. Chris, the brother, and Nadia, the stepsister, they're fucking.
They are fucking a bit. It's true.
The step siblings, they've been at it for a while. It seems like.
Those was that called? Those flowers are in the attic.
Yeah, those flowers are for Algernon.
Tell you what, I felt like I was getting dumber and dumber watching this thing.
So Ace, the resurrected Ace, starts killing people, sort of like one by one, and those people start coming back. and returning and killing more
So
people.
sometimes
So this is like
they
spreading.
come back.
Some, yeah. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Remember him?
Yeah, of course I do.
I can never forget him.
You of all people. I mean, you should
Oh.
know. You should know.
I mean, we should just play it.
Whoops.
Whoops.
Oh boy.
What are you?
Oh, Captain, you disappoint me. You of all, you shouldn't have to ask.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. I had a long talk with Schilling. He told me you're just like your dad, just like him. Spitting image. And we all know that an apple doesn't fall very far from the tree.
So stupid.
The like off-Broadway theater performance of that is is crazy, dude. With the voice effect.
I think you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Can you go, okay, so you're a demon. Can you go very naturalistic on this, please? And
Oh, totally.
oh boy. Okay, so Ace is
right,
raising
so
an army of the undead.
Yes. And we come to find out, like, through a flashback to, like, 400 years earlier, the, like, first settlers of Jerusalem's lot were these French settlers that, I guess, they were starving, and then this girl, Amity, she went out by the lake, and she was visited by an angel. Dan.
Yeah, she was. I remember.
Now, I can put up with all of the shit that we've talked about so far, which is dumb. But this,
unforgivable. Truly
unforgivable.
The angriest I've ever. Ironic that he seems to like emit an angelic glow.
Yeah.
Because this couldn't have been farther from my shining moment. This shit.
So the angel, so she's out by the lake, and she's visited by a man in a cloak.
Now,
yeah,
diehard fans of Castle Rock will remember the significance of the lake in season 1.
Sure, that's where the what's his name,
Henry Deaver.
Henry Deaver. That's where he
Angry
went missing.
Beaver.
And then, so this guy in the cloak, he pulls his hood down, and who is it but fucking Bill Skarsgård as Henry Deaver?
Maybe. Only maybe.
We never find out.
It's none of our business.
Never.
It's not for us to know.
So Ace is raising this whole army of the undead. Ace is possessed by Augustine or Augustin, and who is Amity's, I don't know, husband, boyfriend, whatever. So his plan in the present day is to resurrect Amity in Annie Wilkes' body, right? Because Annie was the one who like started this whole thing by throwing Ace down the hole. So he wants to bring her back. But then he changes his mind, and he thinks that maybe Joy should be the one that Amity takes over, because she can draw, and maybe she has like more of a connection or something, right? All of this,
sure.
All of these things,
we're all guessing, aren't we? We're all just guessing.
I mean, this is all guesswork. All of these things are like this whole cult or whatever. They want to bring this angel back. They have a big wooden statue and apparently a sound which hypnotizes people. Now, we talked about the sound in season 1.
Wasn't the whole deal with the sound that no one could hear it?
Right. Right. That, like, Henry Deaver's father, the priest guy, he could hear it, and, like, nobody else could hear it. There was that guy who made himself deaf with one of those Culkin kids, the one with the long hair, and they could hear it, but like nobody else heard it, right? And I don't know if this is supposed to be the same sound. It seems like it is. You know, uh, but so they're planning to bring Amity back, and then in doing so, also bring this angel back. Uh, all of the people in town who are not undead become hypnotized by the statue and the sound, except for like our main characters here: Annie Wilkes, Pops, fucking Abdi, Nadia, Joy. But then she does get hypnotized later.
What
But
is it
like,
explained why they don't get hypnotized? Is it just because they're the main characters?
that's
It
right.
can't. Main characters are unaffected by the sound.
Yeah. Oh, we don't know why. Like they never explain that. And the whole thing is to bring back this angel who's played by Bill Skarsgård, who they say can like travel between dimensions, right? Which we saw him do in the first season, but he was not an angel.
He wasn't an
a
angel.
teacher. And,
Yes.
and then he accidentally ended up in like this other dimension where he was, thrown into a cage for 30 years or something.
And the whole
And
thing
then-
with him getting out of the cage was like, we got to figure this out. I got to get back. Right? It's like we
Right.
have very little time.
Right. And then he goes, and then at the end of season 1, he's back in the cage. And at the beginning of this season, Ace goes down into that hole where the cage is, and nobody's in there. We also never see Henry Deaver ever again.
Nobody's right. Nobody's in there. The cage is locked from the outside, and there's
Right.
only
And there's, like-
a pile of clothes where once a man stood. Are you fucking kidding me?
It seems like they're like, oh, this is like the through line, and in season 3, that's when we're gonna fucking unveil, Bill Skarsgård's whole deal, like his real,
I heard in season
plan or
3
whatever.
of Peanuts, Lucy actually lets Charlie Brown kick the football. You can only trick me so many times.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård, just like if he was on set for a day, I would be surprised. Like it seems like he was there for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They were like, put this cloak on, take the hood off, and then turn around and walk away. The end.
We will make
Here's your check, go
we will
home.
make a wooden one of you for the other
Right.
shots.
Exactly. So the whole Angel Bill Skarsgård thing is very unclear. The connection to season 1 makes no sense, and we never find out what he is, what his purpose is, what he represents. None of it. Great. So, I don't know. I mean, it goes like.
Right. Well,
They-
so like season 1, something I think
Yeah.
that's worth mentioning. We get 2, remember season 1 is the sort of like self-contained episode about Sissy Spacek and her.
Yeah.
Season 2 has the Annie Wilkes origin story and the French Connection episode.
The French
Like-
Connection.
We're now getting multiple
It does.
episodes outside the continuity of the story.
Right. So after Annie kills Ace, right? There's like this whole thing about she needs her meds, so like she tries to break into the medicine closet or whatever. Nadia, who is a doctor, catches her, and Annie explains after some prodding or whatever, she explains I'm sick, in the head, I need these medications or whatever, and she comes clean about the whole thing, right?
And also she's like, I can't get. Oh, I guess this was just a lie to cover her ass or whatever. But she was like, right when she was like, I can't get the prescriptions because then the nursing board wouldn't let me practice anymore or something. I guess that
Right,
was just
yeah.
a dumb lie, right? Okay.
Sure. Yeah. So, she starts taking her meds, then there's this whole thing like, oh, she stopped taking her meds, so she starts seeing people and hallucinations of her dead father, of her dead mother. Um, just like things keep popping up, right? But like after she kills Ace, after that whole thing with like her falling down the hole and coming out and all that shit, right? There's like an extended period where like Joy runs away. She goes to stay with the Somali siblings, right? And Annie is just like trying to get Joy back, but it's not like this is not like Annie Wilkes, like serial killing Annie Wilkes. This is just like at a certain point she becomes like our hero in quotations.
That was the weirdest thing about this.
It's such a strange turn. Like, she gets kidnapped by the cult of undead French folk, and her and Joy, and then she's able to get away. Joy gets hypnotized and like goes off with these people. So like, and then when we see her later on, she's like, whatever. She becomes part of this like our group of heroes with Pop and Abdi and Nadia and all of these people, right? And like for like 4 episodes, she is like our hero.
Yeah. We are now doing the adventures of young Annie Wilkes. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. And then, right, fucking okay. So
also just like the weird takeaway that she actually never needed the medication, right?
Right?
She's like because it turns out she was right about everything, and
yeah,
she's, I don't know, clearly doing the same shit whether she's on the medication or not. So
right,
yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, I don't. So, the Abdi and Nadia. Well, wait. So at a certain point, our like band of heroes here, they're like holed up in Pop's like hardware store, right? And Pop, who is he's a veteran of like the Gulf War and what he served like several tours. Mm-hmm. And then we come to find out, we get a flashback of Somalia and Abdi and Nadia when they were kids, and they saw their mother shot dead, right? Yeah. And I mean, it's all just, it feels all so lazy. And they're like, and who shot her? It's obviously Pops.
Pop shot her. And then also, like, I don't know, when you are trying to adopt, when you're a single man who runs a like a pawn shop, and you want to adopt 2 kids, do they let you pick the 2 you want? Like, do they let you request them by name?
I feel like no.
Probably
I feel like
not.
the answer is like a hard no. Can you give me these 2 Somali kids?
I'd rather
a hell of a lot.
I'd rather not say why.
Yeah, you're right.
Trust me, though, it's with the best of intentions.
You see, I shot their mother in Somalia, and I just want to do right by them.
Oh my god! Yeah, that drove me nuts. The amount of time it took, like, I don't know, because Nadia finds that out, and like that was like episode 8, probably, right? Like, when do they do the wake?
That was late. Yeah, that was definitely later in the season.
Really late, and then the only conversation they have about it, which I didn't even hate this, but like I don't know, the way that all plays out between her and Pop just felt like kind of stilted and weird, and like, you know, right? Because like.
Right. Well, they have all this other shit going on with like this cult that's after them, right? So when they're in the hardware store, and then there's like, so Pop is dying. He's literally coughing blood into a hanky, right? Yeah, so fucking lazy and cliched. But they come up with a plan to like run across the train tracks, because there's a train that's coming that's like a mile long, and nobody will be able to cross for like half an hour. So they're like, okay, we'll cross and then we'll be able to get away. And Pop is in like bad shape health wise. So he's like, I'm probably not going to make it. And he like wants to I don't, I don't know what the right word is. He wants to, you know, like confess his sins.
Yeah,
I guess
sort of like do
he wants
right.
to atone.
Yeah, atone.
He want like he starts telling Nadia how proud he is and how every graduation that he went to was just like the highlight of his life, and getting to see her grow into such like an amazing person and this doctor that helps people and stuff. And she like cuts him off and she's like, no, after this we're done. I'm not wait, you don't get to like whatever, like
apologize or whatever. I forget what she says too, but
I can't. So they're that's where they are in their like relationship. Yeah. So
and then I guess we get like the true final beat of that is like, right, so they've rigged the shop with pressure cooker bombs, which for a guy with a Boston accent to do is in kind of poor taste, frankly. And
he's like at a certain point he just says like, hey, I got these bombs, let's put them all in front of the doors and windows and daisy chain them together, and everybody's like, yep, got it.
Good, yeah, like, perfect, what? No problem.
Yeah.
And watching, like, there are shots of him just,
where did you get 15 of these from?
Well, how about... well, I guess that was from the construction site. I was going to say, because he also is like, I got a vest full of C4 here. It's like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. No,
but yeah,
it's good.
The shots of him, like, assembling a pressure cooker bomb where it's just so... Like, the show is 5 shows. It's like 5 separate shows.
The whole time I was watching it, like the one word that kept popping in my head, it was like mess.
Yeah.
This show is a mess.
It is
it's all over the fucking place.
It is like that. Say what you will about Annie Wilkes' mental health. This show is the true schizophrenic here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, when like there's a whole cult of undead people like outside the hardware store, and they're like, and Ace is like, listen, just give up. We just want. I don't even know what they wanted at that point, but they were just like
they wanted, not joy because they had joy.
They have joy.
They. Oh, you know what it was?
They were talking about.
Sorry, they needed Pop. They needed to kill
because
Pop.
Of what he knew.
Right. So when you go, okay, so when you're killed and you're resurrected in the goo, first of all, I don't know if we've been clear about the goo. There's goo in a casket. You go in the casket. The goo covers you up, makes you good as new. Goo is short for good as new. And then you have the spirit of a dead Frenchman in you, but you're also, it's still your brain. So that's in there and you're kind of in there. And if you hit someone with an antipsychotic medication, you come back, but just briefly. So
that's exactly right, Dan.
So are you dead? You are dead. But you're in there, but not really. But so the Frenchman, no, he's stolen your memories. He has access to all your memories. He's in your mind palace.
Right.
There's a Frenchman in your mind palace. Ring the alarm. Sacre Blue, a Frenchman.
I got a damn Frenchman in my mind palace here.
I'm sorry, I haven't been myself lately. It feels like there's a fucking Frenchman running around my mind palace.
Man, I have to start using.
How about
like more
like an Upworthy?
My day-to-day.
What about like an Upworthy video that's like, wow, these podcasters describe what it's like to suffer from general anxiety disorder. It's like there's a. It's like there's a Frenchman from the 1600s just running around
my mind palace.
My mind palace. Tears in my eyes. Okay, so all this is to say they want to tears in my eyes. It's breaking my heart.
I got these French colonists, tears in their eyes, coming up to me in my mind palace.
Oh wow, he's really losing it. Yeah, this clears the run. Clears the runway for DeSantis. Yeah. By the way, real quick, did you see that he started calling him Meatball Ron? And that's the difference between because it's very clear that there's like a staffer doing most of his like social media
it's
posting,
quips
right?
and- yeah,
it's
yeah.
clearly a staffer coming up with like DeSanctimonious, right? That's weak.
Yeah, yeah.
But you get him in person and he starts saying shit like Meatball Ron.
Like,
Whew.
you know, I was on Twitter the other day and I follow it's some Sopranos like meme account where it's just like Christopher explaining whatever is happening in, you know, in today's news, and it's like they're calling him Meatball Ron T. I don't. It's just,
You didn't know what that was. You just thought, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I had
Italian
no
people
idea
like
what he was talking-
meatballs. Got it.
yeah, yeah. I was once called a Meatball Ron.
So yes,
so-
they need to kill Pop so that they
They
can
need to
put
kill
him
Pop.
in the goo, and then
And put a Frenchman in his
perfect
mind palace.
Frenchman can enter his mind palace. So
Right.
Pop injects himself
Yep.
with antipsychotic
Yep.
medication, and then
Yeah.
he lets Ace kill him.
Yes.
So when he comes back, he's got just a pool of antipsychotic in him, right?
Right. So he comes
As
back as
himself.
Pop.
But only
The Frenchman is just, you know,
let me
he's
out
running
of
around like,
this cupboard. Let me out of this cupboard. This mind cupboard.
oh no, a mind cupboard?
I'm as shocked as anyone, you see. Okay, so Pop's like, he's like, I only got 10 minutes. You know, it's like,
It's so dumb.
I can
It's so
feel,
dumb.
I can feel the red wine coursing through my veins. I can taste brie. I don't have long.
It's so dumb. It like the whole I could feel him, and it's like it's, you know, it's gonna possess him, and he's in his mind, and he's like to put an actor through that, to be like, these are your lines and you have to make them convincing. So do your fucking job. Like, but they, you know, Tim Robbins does what he can. He so he comes back as himself. He pretends to be the Frenchman, but he is himself. And then he through a series of events or whatever, the Abdi and Nadia end up down in the tunnels underneath the Marston house.
Yeah, so Pop is like, this is because Annie accidentally reveals the tunnel system, and Pop is like,
It's so convoluted.
Pop is like,
it's all over.
You need to draw it from memory right now. Draw me a map of the tunnels under the city. So
Right.
Annie's like, oh, cheese and biscuits, okay, and she does. She just does it perfectly.
Yep.
So they're like, we have to rig this whole place to go up. We have to get, you know, what is it called, like Semtex or whatever, that explosive.
Yeah. It's like plastic explosive.
Abdi gets
yeah.
a bunch of it from the construction site, and they are now rigging the Marston house and
the mine,
the catacombs,
the construction site. Yeah.
all of it. The magic coffins with the magic goo. Mm-hmm. It's all going up, and
Right.
this is like
This is like the climax of the season. So while they're doing this, they're preparing Joy in like a wedding dress, and they're planning on, I guess, sacrificing her and then putting her in the goo, so on and so on.
she's getting the
but
wife
it's like
goo.
this.
She's gonna be Amity.
Right, she's gonna be Amity, but she's got like, it's like this big sort of ceremony where all of these people are there, right? So they're all outside for this thing, and then so Tim Robbins lets the kids like plant their explosives. Then he takes one and he brings it upstairs into the house with him, and he handcuffs them to a thing and whatever. And they blow that up, right? So they start blowing the stuff up underground first, right? And then Joy grabs like that huge knife
Yeah.
and stabs Ace in the back with it.
Yes. So
Right? Not killing him.
No, the explosion seems to like break the spell. Like wherever the sound was emanating from, it seems to stop.
Right. It opens up. It opens something up and releases all those like cicadas or whatever the fuck
I
those
forgot
bugs
about
were.
that.
And everybody in the town is like, "Ew,
Yeah.
bugs!" And they start
They're
running away.
They're like, this isn't worth it. I was on board up to
Yeah,
this
yeah.
point.
Yeah, I did not sign up for bugs.
It's
I was
like
on board with the death cult thing.
Not to
but this is-
this I was watching this show like, what is this, the Doughboys? Because I'm dealing with a bug cult here. That's deep lore.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, no, like
so-
yes, okay.
No, so Joy stabs Ace, right? And then the house blows up, presumably killing Ace. We it looks like he dies. Annie sees Joy, and then she gets her out of there.
Joy.
Joy. And then from there we this is like the last half hour of the last episode is like, okay, Annie driving away
On to the
from
next
Castle
town.
Rock.
Truly,
On to the
like,
next town, right?
The fucking
Like,
Mandalorian.
oh boy, that was fucking
Yeah.
crazy. That was a weird town, huh?
Wow. Well, you know what, Joy? I learned something this week. Like, truly, just like, yeah. No, it's just.
Yeah. It's very dumb. But so like the whole time she's like trying to talk to Joy, and Joy is being like very like standoffish
Due to the events,
she doesn't-
Joy's the only one who seems to be aware of what just happened.
Yeah, I mean, like she's upset by everything, rightfully so. And Annie gets a job.
Oh, because here's
It's like
the other thing.
Yeah.
Adding to Joy being so upset, we get a brief detour where Joy
Oh my god.
contacts.
Yeah,
So,
I forgot
yes,
about that.
so-
Yeah.
Joy. So Annie has like a computer. Joy's not allowed to have the computer. Joy
Right.
steals the computer. Starts like looking at, she finds a copy of the manuscript of the Ravening Angel.
Yeah.
And she reads it
Right.
and like starts doing, like, I don't know what. Because like Annie's
Well,
Googling.
there's like a lockbox with like paperwork that Annie doesn't want Joy to find, which I assume is where she got Rita's name from.
Well, because the other thing was like Annie was Googling Rita K. Green.
Yeah.
So, but also Joy maybe just saw it and then Googled her also. Whatever. Anyway, Joy
Yeah.
finds Rita Green's. She finds out she's still alive.
Yes.
Calls her on the phone, not really knowing what the connection between them is.
Right. She says, "Do you know of this book, The Ravening Angel,"
Yes.
or whatever? And Rita is like shocked because she probably hasn't thought of that for a long time or whatever. And Rita goes to Castle Rock. She like has somebody like she traces the phone call somehow and goes to Castle Rock, confronts Annie, like sees Joy.
Joy. Oh, by the way, Joy
yeah.
is also briefly checked into like a shelter, like a state shelter. She for 2 days becomes a ward of the state.
Yeah, that's dumb. But so Rita wants to take Joy
Yeah.
because that's her daughter. And Annie just kidnapped her and has just been holding on to her for whatever 16 years or something. And Joy is like, well, she's my mom, like she like raised me and everything. So they leave it on like this weird note. And then in the middle of the night, there's like, I think Rita holds Annie at like gunpoint.
Yes.
She's going to kill Annie because
She
Annie has ruined her life.
walks her out into the woods. Yes.
Yeah. And then Joy grabs, she jabs her with a needle full of
Sedative.
I don't know, some sort of sedative,
Which
right?
they had. That's for when Mom
it's-
gets one of her crazy spells. That's
Yeah,
what she
when she
puts
gets the crazies.
puts in Annie when she starts talking nonsense.
Right. So Uh, so Joyce sticks her with this sedative, and then Rita drops her gun, which goes off when it falls and shoots herself, Rita, in the stomach, killing
Yeah.
her.
Yep. Yes.
That's what it doesn't seem like there was really a point to have Rita live after Annie stabbed her with the scissors. I don't know what she does narratively to push the story forward besides like maybe throw a bit of a wrench in Joy and Annie's relationship.
You know what
for like a second?
I think what it is, because that's also like the first thing we see in the series is young Annie Wilkes carrying like
Right.
one of those banker boxes, and it says the Ravening Angel on the side. And she
Right.
takes the lid off to reveal baby Joy down by the riverside,
Yes.
covered in blood. So we are basically told this is the most important thing that's going to happen.
Right.
And
Right.
all I can think,
And then it doesn't. There's no.
all I can think is like I honestly don't know, because the reason she ends up, spoiler, killing Joy,
Yeah.
talk about anyway,
Yeah. No, I get
yes,
it. I get
yes.
it.
The reason she
Yeah.
ends up doing that has nothing at all to do with anything in that storyline.
Any of Rita,
Right.
it's like
So
any
you're
of that
right.
stuff.
Rita
None
didn't
of
need
it.
to live. There's no reason.
She didn't. There's no reason that she had to live after Annie stabbed her.
Except to
she just-
satisfy maybe that most famous of king tropes.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah. Yeah, my favorite trope. So, you're right. So Rita dies. Annie and Joy leave Castle Rock. Annie gets a job as a live-in nurse for a guy who, he's like catatonic, I guess. He's like an older guy. So, but they live in this really nice house on the lake. And so Joy is very standoffish. She doesn't want to do anything with Annie. She doesn't want to really talk with her.
Yeah, there's
Annie
also
walks in on her
Oh yeah,
watching TV. What is she watching?
French.
Blue is
Oh,
blue is the
that
warmest
what
color.
that was? I've never seen the movie. So
Yeah.
it has
A French film with no subtitles.
So there's also like, it's so fucking funny too. Like the way that the knots they have to tie themselves in to like set up that bit of ambiguity, right? Where it's like,
Jesus
well,
Christ.
the settlers have to be French, and Joy has to have like a very, like, like a lesbian love interest that never comes to fruition. Right? It's just like, it's so funny. It really seems like they started with she'll be watching blue as the warmest color and worked backward from there. They're like, well, if we make the settlers French, then
Right.
yeah.
So they add this layer of ambiguity to. So Joy is watching this French film with no subtitles, and Annie is like, she doesn't want to like admit to herself that Joy might be possessed by this Amity person. That's why she's not talking and doesn't want to be around, and
Also,
all this shit,
also,
right?
French Ace dyed her hair black to
Yes.
make her look more like Amity. And when
And she wants to leave it that
Annie's
color.
like, I'll help you with your hair. She's like, I kind of like it. But that's because she's
Right.
emo goth girly.
Yeah, because she's a 15-year-old
Yeah.
girl or whatever, and she doesn't want to fucking
wanna-
hang out
she
with her
doesn't
mom
wanna,
all day.
Like, cut all her hair off and dye it a different color. Like, I don't know.
Right.
A thing that's like famously done to traumatize someone in a movie.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
She doesn't want to
Right.
do that after the week they've had. Are you kidding me?
Right. So Annie ends up drugging Joy with ice cream and pills, and Joy is like, "What'd you give me?" And she's like, and Annie like flips out, and she starts like choking Joy, and then Joy like gets the upper hand. She runs away. She runs outside, and Annie goes charging after her, tackles her into the lake, and that's where Annie drowns her. Annie drowns Joy. And then she goes inside and she sees this letter that Joy wrote about it, saying, like, basically, I'm sorry that I have to leave. I just don't feel comfortable in this house with you anymore. I want like a normal life. I don't know how long I'll be gone for. I hope it's not forever.
I'll come
basically
find you when I'm ready. It's like, yeah.
But it's like basically like I'm definitely not a French
Not a
colonist.
French
I am.
ghost, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a French ghost. And Annie realizes this. She runs outside, and then she she does CPR on Joy, and Joy she comes back to life. And then the two of them, there's like a montage of them just doing fun shit together, eating ice cream and going for walks, reading Paul Sheldon books, and then they go to the Sheldon book reading, and they're sitting next to each other in the front row, and they're so excited. And and then it's a close up on Annie's face, and then the camera pulls out, and the seat next to her is empty, and this is just a figment of her imagination, maybe a schizophrenic thing, maybe.
It's weird because in Misery, Annie never mentions Joy.
No, that's weird.
weird.
That's a weird thing.
That's weird. They must have had to cut that for time.
It's so ballsy to take a character like Annie Wilkes, who everybody knows from Misery, and Misery is like one of the best Stephen King adaptations, right?
You know what? I'm just going to say it's like the best Stephen King adaptation that wasn't directed by Stanley Kubrick. Right? It's
right.
like it's like a top 3.
It's a top 3 for sure. Right? You got like The Shining, you got like Shawshank, and then probably Misery. It's in there. And for them to just be like, okay, we're going to have Annie Wilkes. It's going to be the Annie Wilkes season. Like, you could have picked any other person, basically, from the Stephen King lore to make a series about. And they were like, no, it's going to be Annie Wilkes. It's going to have this weird undead cult thing. And then we're going to tie it back to season 1. And then it's going to end with her sitting. It's going to end like a book
Rogue
reading.
One style, basically, like with the beginning of Misery.
Yeah,
and it's just such horseshit.
Sucks.
I was so much angrier when I realized that it was like supposed to exist in the same timeline, because I was like, I'd made my peace with like, oh, these are just like the adventures of Annie Wilkes, whatever. That's fucking stupid, but at least you're not trying to convince me it's like the same Annie Wilkes.
Right. But that's exactly what they're doing.
Oh my goodness.
So stupid. So, and that's how the season and the series ends, and they're not making a season 3. It's not coming back.
They better not. Here's my promise. If they try to make season 3, I'm going to call in a bomb threat to the studio where they're filming it. That's the King Me promise.
And you heard it here first, people.
Can I say
That's the King Me guarantee. Yeah, I'm sure you're... probably not, but whatever.
Okay.
You're joking. It's a parody. We're doing a parody thing. It's satire. So, I think, there's so much, like, story-wise, I feel like there's so much, like, so many things happening at once, but none of it actually matters. No. By the end of the show, nothing seems to matter. I don't think we find out what happens to Abdi and Nadia, right? Like, after Pop blows himself up and blows the house up.
We no longer care.
Right.
We no longer care about Abdi,
so these characters
about Nadia. All the townspeople, we know they're fine. They just run away from the bugs and go home.
Sure. Like, there is no actual, like, conclusion to the story. They spend the first, like, 2 or 3 episodes focusing on Annie Wilkes. Then the whole, like, middle section is this, like, undead cult thing. and then they spend the last half hour focusing on Annie Wilkes again, and as if like, oh, this has always been the Annie Wilkes story.
It's so crazy, dude.
And it's
like
bullshit. It's nonsense.
What if it had been like a true prequel to Misery, where like, right? Because Misery sets up she's like a serial killer.
Right, a serial killing nurse.
Nurse.
Right.
So what if... I don't know. What if we got, like... Not Bill Hodges, literally, but, like, what if it's a cat and mouse? Do that. Instead of having the cat be the mother of the girl she has raised as her daughter... who comes back for 10 minutes to relapse into alcoholism and then accidentally shoot herself in the stomach like fucking Plaxico Burress. My goodness.
But like, she shoots herself in the stomach approximately where Annie stabbed her however many years earlier. And also
where Daddy took a pike through the tummy.
Right.
Everyone in Annie's life dies by
just getting
abdomen wound.
Right. It sucks. It sucks so bad.
Yeah.
The fact that it just doesn't, even with all of this nonsense happening, I was like, okay, well, if they wrap this up in any sort of way, like the way that everything was going,
yeah.
Right? Like the direction of the show, I'm like, the whole time I'm like, how are they going to fucking like actually wrap all of this up?
Right.
And the answer is they don't.
Yeah, it's exactly like season 1 where it's just like the most disappointing shit. And you know what's weird is like, part of me, there were like these glimmers of hope throughout. Like in the Annie Wilkes, like the true origin story, like that episode, the fact that her mom, Calamity Jane from Deadwood, does like the drive the car into the lake thing. I was a little bit like, all right, well, they're calling back to the first season in that way, right? Because that's how that starts. And I was like, all right, well, maybe they're building towards something, or like maybe they're aware of what's going on.
Dan.
And I'll tell you what, weirdly, as soon as I saw Bill Skarsgård, I was just like, they have no idea. They have no fucking clue what they're doing.
Yep. Absolutely. As soon as I saw him, I was like, get the fuck out of here with this show.
It drove me nuts because the implication of the first season, right? It's like everyone thinks he's like this harbinger of doom. They all think he's like a demon or whatever. And then the implication is that the only reason the bad stuff is happening is because he's in the wrong dimension, and that's like upsetting the space-time continuum.
Right.
So why is he also the devil?
Right. Well,
Pazuzu.
Right. So in the original season, in the first season, when the warden is like, oh, I trapped the devil, and like Sheriff Pangborn is talking about like, you know, I don't know if that kid was the devil or not, and blah, 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 on and on and on, right? Like that season ends with the kid just being captured again and put in the, and not in like some sort of supernatural way either, just a regular human way of being thrown back into the cage.
He gets,
and now he's some sort of like, you know, dimension walking demon of some sort.
Do you think it was like,
maybe
because the series ends like on Christmas with the alternate universe Henry Deaver being like Merry Christmas, right? He's the one keeping him in the cell now.
Yes.
Do you think it means that, do you think it's at that moment that he's like, I vow to destroy Christmas by becoming the devil and killing God?
As long as I'm walking, nobody will destroy Christmas.
Oh, all of my favorite characters are in this show. Oh, man.
We've got the kid from Castle Rock. We got Charlie Manx. All my favorite King characters. Oh my god,
fucking Ready Player One me up, baby.
So, I think that's it, right, Dan?
I don't think there's... That's
gotta
gotta
be, right?
be it. I can.
All right.
I can bear it no longer.
All right, let's do some fucking.
Let's talk about our parts, our hurt parts.
The parts.
Oh, that hurts my parts.
So that hurts my
Oh,
parts.
Dan.
How to choose? It's a smorgasbord of hurt parts. What's the French version of smorgasbord? Buffet. Perfect. Yes. Great. I am truly. I am so hard pressed to think of
just one
single
thing.
thing, but because
I
it
know.
really like it's all of the Annie Wilkes stuff. It's truly like start to finish.
It is all the Annie Wilkes stuff. I mean, it's just so. Even within the show, even if I had not seen Misery, right, and I was just watching this show, I would feel like this character is so weird and inconsistent within the confines of this show.
Because sometimes
it makes no sense.
Sometimes she's doing like Annie Wilkes speak,
right,
and other times she's emotionally complex. And like, I'm
Right,
sorry, you
right.
can't have both.
You can.
That's kind of what drives me nuts. Is like we know for certain Stephen King is on record as saying this, that Annie Wilkes is a metaphor for cocaine. You
That's
just
right.
cannot ascribe emotional complexity to the physical embodiment of the drug cocaine. You
Cocaine.
can't.
I know. You can't do it.
My parts. When do my parts hurt the most? Honestly, you know what? I'm gonna throw a curveball, and I'm gonna say it's when Pop and Ace are doing their like witty repartee over the walkie-talkies, and they're like, this is the big final face-off where they have the whole building set up to explode from pressure cooker bombs. And Pop says, he's like, well, I know you're not Ace, so what should I even call you now? And Ace says, Augustin. I'm going with that.
Yeah. Well, that's very dumb. Jesus Christ. I mean, that ending.
Yeah.
The ending of Annie sitting in the bookstore waiting for Paul Sheldon to show up is so dumb. It's
such
bad.
a hard, like, we've suffered so much. We've suffered so many indignities.
There was also that part when there was a guy tied to the bed in the hardware store when they're all like, when they're in there, and she stabs him in the eyes with two needles. I thought for sure she was going to hobble him. Come on.
How do you not, right?
How do you not hobble?
And that's the thing. Like, she got tied to the bed, and that was like a little ironic nod. But shoehorned in the most like improbable way, where it's like, well, my daughter and I, of course, have a plan that when I go fucking loco, she has to tie me to the bed till I calm down.
when I go fudging loco. Yeah,
when
that
I
last
go
scene, it's just
fudging locomotive,
so fucking bad.
cuckoo like a choo choo. Yeah.
All right, shining
Sure.
moments.
Let's see. Yeah.
Sure.
Wait, hold on. What hurt my parts might actually. Okay, I'm gonna use my shining moment as an opportunity
As two hurt parts
to
and
hurt
no
my
shirt
parts a
shining.
second time, because it's a literal shining moment. It's the moment when the angel with the glowing face reveals himself to be Bill Skarsgård. That is just. It was just such like a fuck you moment. Brutal.
Yeah.
Okay, my actual shining moment probably is just Annie walking up to the car at night because it was spooky. This is the only spooky thing that happens in this whole goddamn show.
Yeah, I wouldn't say any of it is spooky. My I think my favorite part is when Annie kills that guy with an ice cream scooper.
Yeah, that was good.
Um,
That guy Ace.
like that guy Ace. Yeah. I thought I thought that was crazy. That was like, oh, crazy way to kill somebody. And I was like, oh, is that the kind of show that we're
Right,
in
yeah.
for? Like, is she just gonna find like weird, interesting ways to start offing people here?
I would have
No,
welcomed
that's not
that.
it.
I would have been so grateful.
So, right. That was my shining moment. Damn, we got to talk about all the tropes here. I mean, it's a whole town of
yeah,
tropes.
I'm afraid so. Hit it.
We got king
We got
tropes,
king
baby.
tropes.
King tropes! If you've seen it before, you just say so. We'll add it to our running list of king tropes. Why are all the children always evil? What's so many one-liners for people? King wanted to. Why are all the children always evil? King wanted to. What's so many one-liners for people? King wanted to. What's there always gonna be a greaser? King wanted to. You just need to trust this, guys. Go to flatline device. I'd drive a great distance just to die. Just to die.
King tropes. Where do you want to start here?
So let's see. There was like an old store owner with a crazy arsenal of weapons and bombs.
Yes.
I'm thinking of Maximum
Yeah.
Overdrive. That guy had a wild fucking bomb shelter thing going on.
That's a good one. That's real good one. Of course, we get someone driving a great distance just to die.
Of course. What else?
You said this was a whole town full of tropes.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, you have the Marsden house.
Coming-
Is that a trope?
Yeah.
No.
Coming
No?
back sometimes.
Sometimes
Coming back. Of course.
Yeah. Of course.
I think we get a little bit of like although not really. Well, no. I was going to say like the found family of survivors. You get that for half a second until he goes, blow me up before I'm French. Quick.
Quick, before I'm
Fate
French.
worse than death.
Yeah. Before a Frenchman takes over my mind palace. Blow me up.
I've rigged my mind palace with C4 explosives.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe this is in a town full of tropes. Maybe it's just a dumb town.
Bugs, is that a trope? All right.
A swarm of bugs.
Yeah, I don't know. Bugs in the mouth. Green Mile.
Green Mile.
That's
yeah.
a trope. That's
That's
a
a
trope,
trope,
all
baby.
right. Bugs in the mouth. That's a trope. Irish funeral. Well, hold on. Irish folk band playing in a pub. Mr. Mercedes.
What is that
season 3.
from? Mr. Mercedes. I mean, they should have got Bill Hodges like just in the background
Crooning?
or something.
Remember when
Yeah.
he crooned?
Remember? I mean, wait, did you catch when they were playing Danny Boy in the show? It wasn't not the Irish band, just like over like footage of the empty town. They were just like, "Oh, Danny Boy, the pipes."
No, I missed that completely.
It was jarring.
I love when the music's royalty free, don't you? Don't you love?
I think it was a Johnny Cash.
Oh my
version.
God, that's right. Okay, I do remember this now.
Yeah.
The pipes. That's not Johnny. Somebody sounds like, hello,
Hi.
Rob. It's me, Johnny Cash.
Hi, I'm Johnny Cash.
It's me, the man in black. Watch out.
Fred Snyder as Johnny Cash.
I fell into a burning ring of fire.
My name is Sue. How do you do?
Oh boy.
That's Johnny Fred Snyder, Johnny Cash. So, oh man, who is this show for?
It's less clear to me every time we record.
Um,
I have an idea, Rob.
oh, should we move on to the
Whoa,
next?
do you have
thing?
Pop Merrill disease? Cancer?
Yeah.
It's just cancer in the show.
It's just cancer.
But yeah, I think it's time we moved on to our next segment because I think we're both going to have a lot to say on the matter.
Oh, do I?
Well, if you haven't heard us say ghost and slime 50 times already. By the way, this segment's called Where Was Slimer, where we talk about whether or not Slimer from Ghostbusters was in the movie we watched this week.
He was down in those fucking catacombs.
I
man.
didn't know
that whole Lazarus fucking thing is. It's all slime.
It's slime
it's
all the way
Slimer,
down.
baby.
Rob, I've heard of Slimer. I've heard of Slimer's wife, the girl Slimer.
Yeah.
I didn't know there could be so many French Slimers.
Slimer.
Oh, Slimer.
Slimer.
Le hado. L'autobus. Onion head.
Yeah.
How do you... Hold on, do we have time?
So
Do we have
funnier,
time for me to look up how you say onion head in French?
Of
All
course,
right,
we have time
translate,
for
got
that. We've wasted 2 hours here talking about this show. What's another 30 seconds?
Tête d'oignon.
Yeah. Tête d'oignon.
Tête d'oignon. Hold on. Where was Onion Head? Où est la tête d'oignon? This has been... Où est la tête d'oignon? And that was Where Was Slimer?
All right, Dan. This brings us to our penultimate.
Oh, yeah. This is...
They just cheated us! This isn't
Hey,
fair!
that's the real one.
That's the real one,
This
baby.
is IMDb, where we compare our...
Annie Wilkes is a real one. Yeah.
She, I don't agree with everything she did, but I like that she had a pet pig.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is IMDb, where we compare our opinion of the movie against the weighted average user score on imdb.com. Rob?
Astonishing.
The number of people...
Well, yeah, the number of people and the ratings.
Oh,
the
the per episode ratings are psychotic. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I did my thing where I add them all up and I crunch the numbers. I get the true weighted. Thank you could say.
One
might
thank you,
one
Dan,
might
for doing.
thank me at this point. The official podcast
And?
of thanking me. So 12,350 souls, French souls,
Oh no.
logged on to imdb.fr, which is the French domain for imdb.com.
Right.
And awarded this a weighted average user score of 8 stars, 8.0 out of 10 stars.
That's nuts.
It's bug
That is
nuts, cuckoo crazy. Now, I will say,
Yeah.
this was not a popular show, right? Each episode,
Right.
that's 12,000 French souls across 10 episodes. I will tell you the average number of
souls?
of souls per episode. We're looking at
It's probably 1,200 or something,
actually,
right?
the number 12,350 is evenly divisible by 10, so it's 1,235. 1,235 per episode. And yeah, so you gotta imagine the only people bothering to rate this are absolute freaks being like, I loved seeing the characters. I loved when they said Pop's name and when they said Ace's name. It reminded me of the other thing I saw. This show's perfect for me.
Dan, what would you rate
10
this
years
show
ago, I was
at?
involved in a horrible accident. My brain doesn't work.
Oh no! You see, I got an injury to my mind palace.
There's a leak in the roof of my
It
mind
don't-
palace. It's drafty. It's really drafty. Wow, I like that we've found a way to embody the average IMDb user.
Yeah, he's got a leaky mind palace.
So, yeah, I wouldn't give this an 8. I wouldn't give. Oh, also, do you want to guess what the highest rated episode is?
I already saw it was 9.
Yes. And do you remember which episode?
No, I don't.
It's the Annie
Which
Wilkes origin story flashback episode.
Ah,
Which
okay.
might be the best episode, if only because there's only one stupid thing happening. It's just like the fewest number of stupid things happening.
Right.
So what would I rate this,
Dan,
Rob?
what would you rate this?
3. Like, tops.
Yeah,
it's terrible, man.
Tops. I was gonna go 2.5. It's so bad. This show sucks. Nobody should watch it. It's a real bummer. It's a bummer. Like, the cast is like, they're good. Like, I like Lizzie Kaplan and Tim Robbins and yeah.
I'll tell you what, we didn't mention this, but the person, the girl who plays Joy, is Elsie Fisher, who was in that movie 8th Grade. She's like the lead of that. I haven't seen it, but people love that movie, and I've heard it's like a good performance too. So it's like, yeah,
sure.
As you're saying, these are all like competent actors. It would seem. You have the.
Right.
We didn't mention that Abdi is the "Look at me, I'm the captain now" guy. Of course, we love him.
I am the captain now.
Look at him. Look at him.
I am Castle Rock now.
Oh boy. Look at me. I am the Frenchman now.
Yeah, it's a bad show. You gave it a 3, I gave it a 2.5. It sucks. I could not recommend watching this to anyone.
No. I would say watch the Mist series before you watch this, because at least that's psychotic.
Right? Yes.
Oh, also, do you remember when the warden's wife gets killed for no reason on this?
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Shit. No, I was gonna say that exact
You're kidding.
thing. She's another King alum. Yeah. Because of the Mist or whatever. The old woman from the Mist who starts a cult and then whatever. They kill her, and I think they kill her to try and see what she has in her mind palace, but it's not enough. They have to go after Tim Robbins.
Would you describe this as like brain dead midnight mass?
Yes. The whole time I was watching, I'm like, this is a much worse, dumber version of Midnight Mass. Where, yeah, exactly.
Or we could do
go for some midnight ass right now. You know?
No, all right, let's wrap this thing up, right? If I leave now, I could. I'll still have time to get some midnight ass.
Yeah, like the whole, like they're, it's like this weird cult that the whole town is slowly becoming part of.
Although
they're worshiping this angel figure.
That was the thing that did it for me. It's like
that's
they
a demon.
keep talking about the angel that's actually a demon, and you got to eat a bug to consecrate your commitment, which is like drinking the blood. Mm-hmm. The difference is, it's not really gradual in this. Like a few people get turned, but then everyone just gets like the EDM like bass pulse, and they're like, yes, yes,
yes, fucking,
oh yes,
yeah. Everybody's just rolling.
They basically turn. Remember when? Remember the part where Tim Robbins, he walks out and he sees everyone staring at the angel. He goes, "They turn Salem's Lot into frickin' Camp Bisco."
Yeah.
It's freaking
that was a weird
EDC out here.
All right. Does that bring us to our last segment?
I think so. Let's do our last segment.
All right. This is Show's Over.
Show's over.
That's it. That's the
That's
show,
it,
baby.
guys.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
We probably should have mentioned this way sooner. It's the odds that people
Have stuck with
the
it.
whole thing,
Yeah.
very low. But if you are still listening, you're actually probably the perfect person to head over to patreon.com/kingmepod. Sign up for our bonus program. Bonus shows. Bonus program.
We're doing all kinds of shit over there.
It's true. And I'll tell you what, new folks keep showing up, and I couldn't be more delighted.
I know, it's so exciting. We're doing we're going to be doing a bit of a can I spoil it? A little bit of a cooking thing. We're going to be making recipes out of the Castle Rock cookbook.
Ooh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're going to be doing that. We have also done more normal stuff where
we have. We talk about the short stories. We have a book club going on over at the
long
Patreon
stories
too.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Long story, extra long. We're doing Salem's Lot right now, which is like
We're very proud of ourselves.
We're reading a book here. Come on.
Good for us. Yes, so you get that. You also get full access to the Tuesday show, which is the King Me Babies.
Mm-hmm.
You get all the good stuff, man, and probably more stuff coming.
Go
Who
check it
knows?
out, guys. Link is in the show notes. You could email us at kingmepod@gmail.com. Hit us up on all the socials.
Instagram, Twitter, TikTok.
What?
Go to TikTok.
That's right.
I think the handle's KingMePod also, right? And you go over there. I'm learning how to do the floss dance for this. If you want to see me flossing to an audiobook of Shawshank Redemption, Hearts in Atlantis, you'd see me doing that.
Yeah, it's you flossing for 18 hours of an audiobook.
All the comments are like,
what else?
whoever's making him do this, please let him stop. He seems sick.
God.
He's not well. Wouldn't that be funny if I did that and then I got like really tight abs, but the rest of me was still flabby?
You're just really strong in one
Please
part
let
of your
him
body.
stop and get fat again. All over.
All right, guys. That's
Till
it.
next time, I am Danny.
I am Rob Avon
Gagliardi.
Gagliardi.
Didn't like that. Stephen King.
Stephen King.